Hello, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Justin Hinton.
And I'm Kalina Estrinos, and we do start our newscast right now with breaking news. We've learned there's been an officer-involved shooting. We do know that officer is in the hospital right now, but we're still waiting to learn that officer's condition. We have a look at this scene. This is just from moments ago. This is near Flamingo and University Center Drive. You can see the heavy police presence there. Also the police tape up as well for the crime scene as the investigation, of course, continues. Now we'll have more coming up in just 30 minutes, but we do know that there appears to be, of course, like you can see, the police activity in the area, possibly some roadways completely blocked off. So I want to go over to Zora Asbury right now for a look at the traffic conditions and what areas might possibly be impacted.
Well, Kalina, Justin, you're absolutely right. You'll notice a stretch of purple here along Flamingo Road, east and westbound. That's after the officer-involved shooting near the intersection of Flamingo and University Center. So as we take a live look at some of our cameras, you can see a very wide scene here involving several Metro officers. We've counted over 5 cars there. This is going to be Flamingo at Swenson that does eventually turn into University Center. You can see the scene from several perspectives. Here's another camera. This is going to be Flamingo at Cambridge. You'll see officers blocking off the road here as well. And so we will continue tracking your commute here. We will give you some alternate routes. As I mentioned, this is a very wide scene that does span several roadways in the area. We'll continue tracking this and we'll give you an update coming up.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. We begin this morning with some breaking news. We've learned one Metro police officer is in the hospital right now after getting shot.
Yeah, we're still trying to learn exactly what happened and their condition. We are told there will be a media briefing at some point, but we do want to show you what's happening near Flamingo and University Center. There is heavy police presence at this hour. Now, we started hearing about this activity around 1:30 this morning, though again, we are still trying to learn exactly what took place.
We do know these situations can always be fluid, obviously with the roadway shut down and the investigation continuing this morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. And we do know, we looked into this morning, that there have been at least 9 officer-involved shootings with Metro just this year. Last year, we've learned there were 5. Do want to get out to our Alyssa Bethencourt, who's live right now, joining us from that area right now. And Alyssa, again, we know this is just fresh information coming into our newsroom, but what do you know so far and what have you learned?
Well, Kalina, just in a very fluid situation. We do know that we're expected to hear from Metro Police at some time this morning, but they have not given us an exact time or location. As you guys mentioned, we do know that an officer has been shot and has been taken to Sunrise Hospital. I want to give you a look at the scene here off of Palos Verdes and Flamingo this morning. You can see police are here right now, but throughout the area, they've set up a perimeter of at least a mile. So that goes to show the extent of what happened here this morning. And on the traffic cameras that we've been showing you this morning too, there's been at least a dozen cop cars that we've been able to count. Again, though, this area is closed off about a mile all the way down to DI and Eastern. One more thing that we were able to piece together this morning, and this really stuck out to me. Almost exactly a month ago, there was an officer-involved shooting at this same exact location. We do have that video for you this morning, and we're going to give you a moment to see exactly what happened back then.
Thank you so much for joining us right now at 5:31 this morning. We begin with breaking news right now. We've learned one Metro police officer is in the hospital right now, and we're told this is after an officer-involved shooting. We're still trying to learn exactly what happened and also that officer's condition.
Yeah, we're told there will be a media briefing around 6 o'clock this morning. Our Alyssa Bethencourt will be there, and we'll bring it to you live once it happens. But we do want to show you what's happening near Flamingo and University Center. Now, there is a heavy police presence at this hour. It's been that way for the last few hours. This is video from maybe an hour or so ago. You can still see there are a number of cars in that area. There are also a number of road closures surrounding that area. This is pretty close to UNLV as well. But this is not the only police scene that's in the area.
Yeah, so we're also seeing heavy police presence right now at a local hospital. So we do have our other reporter, Rachel Moore. She's joining us live there right now. We know you've been talking to officers there. So what have you learned so far?
Kalina, Justin, good morning. Yes, activity has been picking up here at Sunrise Hospital. I'm in the parking lot and I've counted several Metro units parked outside. And then just a couple of minutes ago, we saw several officers go inside the hospital. Now, they're of course showing support and unity for the officer involved in this shooting. And about an hour ago, we saw some people show up who weren't in uniform. Officers were consoling an older man who was clearly distraught. And some of the officers even had to hold him up to keep him from falling falling to the ground, and then a woman joined him and the officers, and we saw her wipe a tear from her face before they all went inside the trauma center. We also saw the honor guard walking the hospital grounds, hugging several officers, and we know that the honor guard performs military-style honors for officers killed in the line of duty, and this is according to the LVMPD website. We've also spotted the coroner's car in this parking lot, but I do want to make clear that we have not confirmed the condition of the officer involved in this shooting. And just to give you some perspective, when officers are injured on the job, usually they're taken to UMC to be treated because they're county employees. In fact, just last month, there was an officer-involved shooting in the exact area, which is a block from where we are here at Sunrise Hospital, and she was taken all the way to UMC for surgery. But again, we do not know the injuries or the condition of this officer in this morning's shooting, and we don't know the name of the officer nor how long the officer has been with Metro, but we're told that we will get more information in the upcoming hour on this officer-involved shooting. For now, reporting live from Sunrise Hospital, I'm Rachel Moore.
Rachel, thank you so much. Certainly it's sad to hear all of those things that are taking place there. Also, we should note there have been a lot of officer-involved shootings with Metro police officers in this past year. I think there have been about 9, at least 9 so far. Compared to last year, there were 5. So certainly a lot more that are taking place. A scene there, active scene as well, where that shooting took place.
And again, we do have our other reporter, Alyssa Bethencourt, who is on the way to where the media briefing should take place.
Right.
We believe at 6 a.m. this morning. So we'll continue to follow this story and, of course, update you as well. Now, we do know, based on our cameras we've been seeing across the area, our traffic cameras, there's heavy police presence as well. So we do want to get over to Zora Asbury. We see the purple on your screen. That usually indicates that an entire roadway is shut down, but you also have ways people can get around a number of these closures this morning as well.
That's right. Kalina, Justin, we have several cameras that are showing the perspective of this scene here of the officer-involved shooting. Flamingo is closed right now from Palos Verdes to Cambridge, and you'll notice this purple stretch here that does span past Claymont. So we'll continue tracking this closure, as it will certainly affect morning commuters as they get ready to head out to work. And so if this is your morning commute, you just want to listen up and make sure that you avoid the area. Here's a live look at the intersection of Flamingo and Swenson. Now, Swenson does turn into University Center Drive the further north that you drive. And so as we take a live look here, you'll see the scene still closed in the area. As we take a look at the other side of the scene this morning, you'll notice once again, this is a nice long stretch of purple here. You want to avoid Flamingo East and West and take Twain or Tropicana as an alternate route. But as we take a look here at another perspective, even Eastern at Desert Inn is seeing some flashing lights and some closures that are related to this. And so we'll continue tracking that for your morning commute. As far as other areas besides this, the 215 right now looking nice and clear, the 15 looking pretty good, and the 95, same story. We will start to see a little congestion accumulate on our major arteries closer and closer we get to 6 o'clock.
Good morning. We are following breaking news at this hour. We know that at this hour that at least one police officer is injured in an officer-involved shooting. Now, we started hearing about this around 1:30 this morning.
And we're still trying to learn exactly what happened, also trying to figure out what that officer's condition is right now. It's at 6 a.m. this morning, where we've been tracking this now for a couple hours. We do know there's a heavy police presence right now at the scene near UNLV, and also heavy police presence right now at Sunrise Hospital as well. But we do have our very own Alyssa Bethencourt. She's been tracking this story for us all morning long. She switched locations now. She's at Metro headquarters, where we're waiting for an update right now from the department. Alyssa?
Yeah, Kalina, as you just mentioned, we were at that scene no more than 30 minutes ago. We moved over here to Metro headquarters because we were told we are supposed to receive an update from them within the hour about exactly what happened overnight with this specific police officer. I do want to tell you, when we were at that scene, we did see a really heavy police presence, but something that stuck out to us the most was a coroner's truck with Metro was also at that scene. Usually that's pretty telling that somebody may have passed away, but it's also part of their typical investigation. Again, though, we are expecting to hear from Metro within the next few minutes. As soon as we do, we'll bring you those live updates right here on KTNV. For now, though, we're going to send it over to our very own Zora Asbury. She's live in studio with a look at the closures. Zora.
Well, Alyssa, the span of these closures is great on the east side of town. So we have a couple of different scenes here. The officer-involved shooting happened closer towards Flamingo near University Center Drive. And so right now, Flamingo eastbound and westbound closed between Palos Verdes and Cambridge. So as we take a look closer to that area, you'll notice a nice stretch of purple here that shows or indicates a road closure both east and westbound. Just northeast of this scene, you'll notice also we do have a scene here at the intersection of Desert Inn and Paradise Road. I wanted to give you a live look at the area so you can visually see what we have been seeing for most of the morning. So as we take a look here at a couple of cameras, you'll notice this is going to be Flamingo and Swenson. Swenson does turn into University Center Drive eventually, the further northbound that you drive. But once again, the intersection completely closed as they do continue this officer-involved shooting investigation. As we take a look here, this is going to be Bonanza and Pecos. We do have police activity here. This doesn't seem to be related, but we are keeping our eyes on this morning. This is also going to be on the east side of town, and so if you are traveling there, just watch out for that.
We're continuing to track that breaking news coming out this morning.
Yeah, we are awaiting a news conference that is supposed to take place from Metro Police Department. As soon as that takes place, we will certainly be sure to bring it to you. We know we have team coverage as well with more after that police officer was injured in an overnight shooting and the traffic closures that could affect your morning commute. Stay with us. Good morning. We want to start this half hour with breaking news. An officer-involved shooting has led to one Metro officer in the hospital, several police scenes, and a number of area road closures.
This has been a very fluid situation all morning long. We started hearing about this around 1:30 this morning. We continue to gather new information from several different scenes. More officers, we've learned, have shown up over at Metro's headquarters and also at the hospital. That's where we know one Metro officer is in the hospital right now. We're still waiting to learn that officer's condition. We have video on your screen though. This is video from just moments ago. This is near Flamingo and University Center Drive. You can see the heavy police presence there, all the flashing lights. You can see the perimeter blocked off there with the tape up as well. We do have more on this coming up in just about 30 minutes, but since we've been covering this, Justin Hinton, this morning, we've seen several different scenes and lots of updates from our reporters on scene as well.
Yeah, one of those reporters is Rachel Moore. She has been at the hospital saying a number of officers have been showing up. So let's get to her right now. And Rachel, what else are you seeing? We see the officers behind you. What's going on?
Yeah, right next to me, actually. They're starting the procession. I just want our photographer, Hannah Jacobs, to just move to this procession right now. They are moving the officer's body from the hospital. He's right here in this Davis Funeral Home van. They're moving his body from the hospital to the coroner's office, and this is the procession lined up to escort. This is obviously a solemn, very, very solemn scene right here that we're seeing. They have the road blocked off here at Maryland Parkway where Sunrise Hospital is. Now, about an hour ago, we also saw people show up who weren't in uniform. Obviously, a lot of officers from several different law enforcement agencies have been showing up to this hospital. Excuse me, while I'm out of breath, we had to run up the hill. They wanted to move us off property, off the hospital property for this procession here. But like I said, about an hour ago, we saw a family of the officer come out of the hospital being consoled by other officers. We've seen the honor guard here on ground. We know that they perform military-style honors for officers killed in the line of duty. And we do not know, though, exactly what kind of injuries this officer suffered at the officer-involved shooting. But we do know that he has obviously passed on as we see this procession taking place down Maryland Parkway. And we will continue to update you on air and live and online at ktmv.com as more details become available. I understand that they're supposed to give us a press conference updating us on exactly what happened here and who this officer was. We do not know who he is nor how long he's been with Metro Police. Now they've just opened the road back up here on Maryland Parkway. Again, we will continue to update you on air and online at ktmv.com. Reporting live, I'm Rachel Moore.
Thank you, Rachel, for following that story. I counted over 12 Metro and NHP officers starting that procession, leaving Sunrise Hospital. As she mentioned, roads are starting to reopen, but we are still seeing some closures here along Flamingo east and westbound due to this officer-involved shooting. And of course, as that investigation continues, we are going to continue to see roads near the area blocked. This is going to be Bonanza and Pecos. This is unrelated. This is a vehicle injury crash that is blocking roadways. So as you guys take a look here this morning along Pecos Road, north and south, and Bonanza east and west, you could see some closures there. Taking a look here, Flamingo and University Center Drive. This is going to be the area of that officer-involved shooting. And once again, we will continue to monitor this as roads are still closed for the investigation. Taking a check of traffic elsewhere right now, we do have a crash reported here, 95 at Boulder Highway. You'll notice that it looks like an officer kind of snaking through traffic to block the roadways to make sure that they can clear the road for their investigation. Lots happening on the roadways this morning. If you have to head out the door, make sure to hop on Twitter and follow us for all of the developments on traffic and breaking news.
Zora, thank you. We do want to make a quick note about Rachel's live shot. We heard her say that she had to run up the hill to get to where that procession route is. Want to give some context, though. So we've been following this story since about 1:30 this morning. This has been our breaking news coverage. We've had 2 crews on scene, called in extra crews to go out there as well. We're still waiting on a media briefing right now that's supposed to be happening at 6 a.m. That's where we have our reporter, Alyssa Bethencourt, Metro headquarters, where hopefully we'll learn more information. But based on what we saw from Rachel's picture, it seems like the officer that we learned this morning was injured in some type of officer-involved shooting has passed away. We saw the coroner, we saw the procession there, which is something we see usually when this type of situation happens.
Yeah, we were talking to Rachel at 5:30, and she was saying that she was seeing a number of folks that were showing up to the hospital, both officers that were dressed, others in plain clothes. She mentioned that there was a gentleman that was there that officers had to hold up because he was basically breaking down. She said another woman showed up as well, and people were consoling her. So this is certainly a devastating day for the department. And when you see that procession, it's very clear what's happened, that, like you said, this was a fatal incident that involved that officer. Hopefully at this news conference that we are awaiting, we'll learn who this officer is and the dedication and how they gave their life doing what they love to do. You know, this is a difficult time for law enforcement and a different time for our community, and we're looking to hear more from that. We should also mention that this has been a pretty violent year when it comes to officer-involved shootings. We were checking some of our numbers in the past. We know this year alone there have been at least 9 officer-involved shootings. When you look at what that looked like last year, it's nearly double. There were just 5 last year. So we know that department is going through a lot, and hopefully we'll get a little more context coming up at any moment now. We do have Alyssa Bethencourt there at Metro headquarters.
You can imagine why this might be delayed, because dealing with a Metro officer that has fallen in the line of duty, I mean, I know they said 6 a.m., but you can just imagine how they're feeling right now with that type of news. And again, hopefully we'll get an update coming up soon with our very own Alyssa Bethencourt. We'll continue to follow this story, though, of course, here on air, online, our social media handles as well.
Absolutely, and we will bring it to you live as soon as that does happen, as long as we are still in this newscast.